boys and girls. Today we're going to look into the adventures of elapsed time. We're going to explore the understanding of solving word problems involving adding and subtracting time by representing it on a number line. Let's get started. So let's explore what elapsed time is. It's the amount of time that passes between one time to another. Or sometimes you might have to find a start time. So if we were to say Jason got to school at 7:30. 10 minutes ago, the bus dropped him off. What time did Jason get to school? At other times, you might have to find an end time. This would mean you are going forward on a number line. So for example, if Mrs. Jaramillo got to school at 7:15 and school starts in 15 minutes, what time does school start? Which would be 7:30 if you had 15 more minutes to 7:15. So now let's go on to talking about ways to do this on a number line or possibly even in a table. So now let's take a look at elapsed time between a start time and an end time. Remember, elapsed time is the amount of time that passes between one time to another time. So let's take a look at these two clocks. The first clock on the left is our start time. So if you look at the clock, you will notice that the hour hand, which is the shorthand, is pointing what looks like on the 6. However, if you notice the minute hand, we're almost at the o'clock hour hand time. So if you look at that hour hand, which is your long hand, it's showing that it's 2 minutes right before the o'clock, which in this case is 6 o'clock. So that tells us that our time is 5:58, not 6 o'clock yet. If you look at the right hand side or the right clock, we have our hour hand pointing almost at the 8, a little bit past it, and the hour hand, which is our red long hand, pointing at the 2, which tells us that 10 minutes has passed. So that tells us it's 8:10. Now we want to find out how much time has passed. So we're going to use a number line, an open number line. An open number line means that we have not or do not have any marks or intervals showing the time on this clock. We're just going to leave it open to help us start with adding on the time from 5:58 to 8:10. So how do we get started? First, we need to have our start time. Now, in this case, we could start on adding hours to 5:58. If we did that, 1 hour would be 6:58, and then we could go 7:58 and continue from there. However, sometimes it's easier to go to an even 10 or increment of 10 so that we can add on time a little bit easier. So in this case, we're going to start at 5:58. We're going to add on 2 minutes, which is going to take us to 6 o'clock. Now, when we add on our hours, it will be much easier to see or understand what time it is. So now we're going to add on an hour, which would place us at 7 o'clock. We ask ourselves, can we add on another hour? In this case, if we go from 7 and add on an hour, that would place us at 8 o'clock. So yes, we can add on another hour. And then we have to ask ourselves, are we at our end time yet? No, we are not at our end time yet. So if we go from 8 o'clock, we need to add on 10 more minutes to 8 o'clock. And that will place us at 8:10 on the number line. So if we look at this on a chart, or excuse me, if we look at this above our number line, we will notice that we have the elapsed time shown above. So to get from 5:58 to 8:10, we have had 2 hours and 12 minutes that have gone by or elapsed. Now, we can also do this in a chart or table. We can start with our start time at the top, which is 5:58, add on 2 minutes, which would place us at 6 o'clock, add on an hour, which would place us at 7 o'clock, add on another hour, which would place us at 8 o'clock, and add on another 10 minutes, which would place us at our end time of 8:10. So again, if we look at the right side, we know that 2 hours and 12 minutes have passed. So now let's take a look at elapsed time when we're looking for an end time. Elapsed time can have a start time, but not an end time in some cases. We need to know, to find the end time, you need to know a start time and the amount of time that has lapsed or gone by. To do this, we're going to look at a clock, and if you notice, the clock says 7:30. That's our start time. Now, if we don't know our end time, we need to know how much time has passed. So we're going to say an hour and 10 minutes. Now this time, we want to know what the end time is. So we're going to look at a number line, and this time you will notice that it is in increments of 10 minutes on the number line. So we are not using an open number line this time, so we're going to have to use what we know about time on a number line. So we're going to start at the middle of 7 and 8 o'clock, which would be 7:30. Then it tells us we want to add on an hour. So if we use our understanding of a whole hour, we would go from 7:30 all the way up to 8:30. Then from 8:30, we want to add 10 more minutes. Now remember, these little spaces of time are in increments of 10, so that makes this pretty easy. We can go 10 more minutes, and then that would give us 8:40. So our end time would be 8:40. We can also do this on a table. So example, starting at 7:30, we add on an hour, making 8:30. From 8:30, we add on 10 more minutes, which makes 8:40. Simple, right? Now let's move on to elapsed time that can have an end time, but not a start time. So to find the start time, you need an end time and an amount of time that has gone by. So again, we start with our 2 clocks, but you'll notice this time we have an end time. The end time is 5:15. We want to know what time it was 1 hour and 10 minutes ago. So again, we want to know what our start time is. We're going to use a number line. So since we know what our start time is, we're going to show it on the number line. 5:15 is not an interval or multiple of 10. So we're going to be in between the 10 and the 20 mark on our number line, which would be right there. We're going to subtract an hour back, which should mean that we're an hour less, but in the same place, an hour less than what we were before, which would place us at 4:15. Then we want to subtract 10 minutes from the 4:15, and that should give us 4:05. So our beginning time is going to be 4:05. You can also do this on a chart. So if we started at the bottom this time with our time at 5:15, subtracted an hour, which would place us at 4:15, going up the chart or up the table, and then subtracting off another 5 minutes, that would put us at 4:10. So let's investigate a word problem now. The word problem says, Pam has to be at work in 1 hour and 15 minutes. If it's 7:15, what time does she have to be at work? So in this case, 7:15 is right now, which is our start time. In 1 hour and 15 minutes tells us how much time has passed. Our question wants to know what time does she have to be at work, which means that we need to find an end time. So we know that she's starting at 7:15 on our number line because that's our start time. If we go 1 hour forward, that means that that will place us at 8:15. If we go another 10 minutes from the 15 minutes, that would place us at 8:25. And if we go 5 more minutes to make the 15 minutes, that would put us at 8:30. We can also do this on a chart or a table. In this case, our start time is 7:15. We add an hour, that would place us at 8:15 in our chart. Add 10 more minutes into the tens, which would place us at 8:25, and add 5 more minutes on to 8:25 to put us at 8:30. So now it's your time to practice. You're going to need your practice book, lesson page 12-4, and you're going to do the reteach and the practice book page on the back. You'll also need your blue notebook with the lined paper for modeling the time on an open number line, just like the one below. Make sure to use your open number line, and then if you'd like to also use a table, that might be an easy way for you to also figure it out. I will also be posting online on the YouTube channel a sample of different types of problems that you may be running into in your books. So, hope this helps you in understanding elapsed time better, and we'll see you soon.